House will come to order. Members will please come to the floor. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? Members will please come to the floor. All members who come to the floor. Mr. Clerk, would you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Naomi Ruth Barber King. Honoring the life and memory of Amy Wald St. Pierre. Recognizing April 2024 as Arab American Heritage Month in Georgia. Recognizing and commending Shah Battle. Congratulating and commending Danica Rodriguez for receiving the 2024 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Recognizing and commending Martine Wilson. Recognizing and commending Dr. Natalie Hernandez. Recognizing and commending Naoma Bond. Recognizing and commending Shanti Moore. Recognizing the 90th anniversary of the Georgia Tech Research Institute. Recognizing and commending Poplar Springs Baptist Church on the occasion of its 150th anniversary. Recognizing and commending Hisplanta. Recognizing and commending the U.S. Military Vets Motorcycle Club. Recognizing and commending Jessica Wilson. Recognizing and commending Tiffany Bryant. Recognizing Dr. Kim Coder. Congratulating and commending Chandra Wright for receiving the 2024 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopt any privileged resolutions? Chair hears none. The resolutions are adopted. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 448?
Senate Bill 448 by Senator Hatcher the 50th, Strickland the 17th, Kennedy the 18th, and Gucci the 51st. To be entitled an act to amend the official code of Georgia annotated so as to revise, modernize, correct errors or omissions in, and reenact the statutory portion of said code. This bill having referred to the Committee on Code Revision, the committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Yurta is recognized to present the bill. The gentleman from Sylvester, Georgia. Chairman Yurta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I bring you Senate Bill 448. This is the annual code revision bill. These are Georgia code edits to the code that the Code Revision Commission has recommended. This is to correct grammatical errors, typos, and actually other acts that have become obsolete or unconstitutional. And most importantly, this bill reenacts the statutory provisions of our official code of Georgia. so our laws will stay on the books. So it's a very important bill, and I'd appreciate your support on this bill.
You have no questions.
I yield the well, sir.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 448, the yeas are 138, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Members, we all know that there's some of our family that is moving on that will not return in 2025. One of those is a dear friend of mine that we've served together over a number of years. He in some different capacities, but we've always remained friends and have had great respect for the gentleman from House District 40, Doug Stoner. Representative Stoner, you're recognized to come speak to your family. Representative Stoner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the speaker said, as many of you are aware, I will not be returning to this chamber next year. Once it was clear that Representative Nolwitz, Terry, and I would be in the same new district, I made the decision not to run for re-election. And for more than 20 years, Terry and I have been friends, political allies, and colleagues both in this House and on the Smyrna City Council. So in spite of what one may think, this was not a hard decision due to our friendship. I know Terry well, and I know she will represent my hometown of Smyrna in Cobb County with integrity. But for those who may not know, this was not my first time serving as a freshman in this House. It's been interesting because the freshman class I've come in with in the 2022 election learned that I was not really a freshman. They kind of figured that out real quick. And so they were very nice. They gave me the title of Dean of the Freshman Class, which I thought was really nice. No offense to Gerald Green, Representative Green as Dean of this House, but they gave me a Dean of the Freshman Class, which I really appreciated that. But to give you a little back, I was elected in the 2002 election and served as a member of the majority under Speaker Terry Coleman in 2003 and 2004, which I know for some of my colleagues on my side of the aisle, that's something they're not used to. Obviously, I was very fortunate to serve in the majority, and yes, I do miss being in the majority. I will not lie. I do miss being in the majority. No offense, Mr. Speaker, or my colleagues across the aisle.
None taken.
In fact, if I've got to serve in the minority, I'd rather, I would serve with Speaker Burns, definitely, is who I would want to serve within the majority and the minority. In fact, several members of my first freshman class are still serving this chamber today. And right off the bat, Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones, we were freshmen. Chairman Billy Mitchell, who's I don't think here, but Billy Mitchell was also with me. Pete Marin, Representative Debbie Buckner, Representative Al Williams, Representative Mary Margaret Oliver, Representative Roger Bruce, Representative Chuck Martin was a freshman with me, and until recently, Representative Barry Fleming, now Judge Fleming. And one other member who I was looking forward to serving with again and unfortunately could not, and that was Speaker David Ralston, who was a freshman with me in 2002. Now, this is not the first time redistricting has impacted my service in this legislature. In fact, the redistricting session of 2001 created a multi-member House district. Some of you may remember those. Multi-member House district that allowed me to run for the House in the first place. Then at the beginning of the 2004 session, I know members of my freshman class definitely remember this, the courts threw out our maps and drew new ones. Those maps drew me into a House seat with former Representative Rich Golick. A lot of y'all knew Rich. Instead of running against my fellow House member, I ran for the Senate against an incumbent senator who I defeated in 2004. Now, just to be honest, I'm a Democrat. She was a Republican, so I mean, I took out a Republican senator. But hey, at least it was a senator. It wasn't a House member. That's the way I looked at it. Thought that was something. And so I served for about another 8 years in the Senate, eventually becoming chairman of the Democratic caucus over in the Senate. But again, redistricting in the 2011 redistricting session impacted my service in this legislature. And I was drawn into a 62% Republican performing Senate district due to the courtesy of my friends on the other side. None of my friends here on the other side. This was my friends over in the other chamber on the other side. And I will tell you, I always like a challenge. Anybody that knows me, I like a challenge. And yes, I did lose the contest in 2012. But I'm a little proud. I only lost by 4 points, 52-48, considering I was drawn into a 62% Republican forming district. But you know, during my absence from this body, I served on the Smyrna City Council, within my colleagues, Senator Council Member Anowitz. And then in 2021, this body again drew new maps. And I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to return back to this chamber in the 2002 election. Obviously, I'm here today giving this speech to the outcome of the latest redistricting, which, by the way, is the fifth one I have gone through in the last quarter century. And I have to be honest, 3 have benefited me, 2 have not. So I'm just being honest here and everything. Now, you'd think by now I have to take a hint after all that's happened, which obviously I can't take a hint, or that would either be bitter or cynical about my circumstances. And I assure you, I'm neither. I'm neither one of those. The reason I'm not is that I've always enjoyed public service in spite of all the challenges, and we all know what the challenges are, everybody that serves in this body. And I get a deep satisfaction in helping my fellow Georgians while also improving my community in my state. Those who have worked with me over the years, no matter their political affiliation, know that I enjoy building coalitions to solve problems. This desire to be involved civically was both drilled into me and demonstrated at an early age by my grandparents and parents. And why I say that is when your family owns a Dairy Queen in town, which we still do own Dairy Queens, you have no choice but to be involved in your community, because everybody wants to come to your Dairy Queen, wants you to sponsor their sports team or whatever it is. I can tell you, I was very popular as a child in school due to us owning the local Dairy Queen. I can tell you that. Everybody wanted to know, could I bring ice cream to every school party or everything like that? Oh, by the way, just not trying to, today's Pie Day, if y'all know, it's 3/14, right? And some of you may have noticed I had some pies over in the cooler over here. I had a sign that said, "Do not touch." Those were for some of the pages that we had that were type 1s today. Of course, they didn't eat all the pie, so there's plenty of pie, by the way, if y'all like, courtesy of Representative Stoner today, sitting over there in the ante room. Kind of brings back my days of the Dairy Queen. Not surprisingly, this background led me pursuing a political science degree in college. So I actually did use my degree, which is not something everybody can say. But my public service did not begin with elective office. Like many of you in this body, I served as a local appointed public official first, which I did in a number of capacities for 32 straight years from 1991 to 2023, while concurrently serving in elective office. I was vice chair of a development authority for 25 years, chairman of another authority, and I was even chairman of the Cobb Transit System at one time. in the same time I was also serving in public office, elected office. So no one needs to feel sorry for me, and I don't think anybody here is, with all due respect. But as those of you who have known me over the years, I will continue public service in another forum. In fact, this morning when the governors were here, who I served with all three of those governors, Representative Governor Kemp, he mentioned, he says, I hear you're leaving, Representative. And I said, yeah. He says, I'm not worried. You'll be back eventually. I know you, Doug, which I appreciated that. But I would conclude this farewell address, or as I like to call it, a farewell for now address, okay, with a famous quote attributed to Hubert Humphrey, former Vice President of the United States. That sums up how I kind of view my years of service. I quote, once you get politics in the blood, the only cure for it is embalming fluid. And I think a lot of us know folks, and I'll admit to be one of those folks. I mean, my first political campaign occurred when I was 13 years old. I worked on a campaign when I was 13, so at an early age. And hopefully that cure is not anytime soon, is the way I look at it. And I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues here in the House. I've enjoyed many years of service in both chambers and have built a lot of friendships with a lot of many individuals who are serving now or served in the past. But if my legislative service has to end now, which again, I'm not saying it will, hopefully not, but if it has to end now, I find it very appropriate that I finish it in this House where I started over 20 years ago. And again, I thank y'all. I know it's Thursday afternoon. I'm not going to keep y'all here and everything, but I just want to come and let you know my thoughts on this and leaving. And on my, as I say, my farewell for now address and everything. Thank y'all very much.
Representative Stoner, you've been a friend, as I said, for years, and I don't take that friendship lightly. You've also been a fierce advocate for your district, and I can tell you as a Georgian, I appreciate that. We wish you the best, and somehow I think we'll see you again in some capacity. You're quite resilient, and I think the reason you have that success is you care about the people of Georgia. And you're a good man, and we appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it.
We're going to miss you. Members, I'm going to give you a moment to greet and speak to Representative Stoner. House will come back to order. We have one more bill on the calendar. One more bill. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 450? 450.
Senate Bill 450 by Senator Kennedy, the 18th, Strickland of the 17th, Hillary the 19th, Gooch of the 51st, and others, be entitled an act to amend Titles 5, 15, 44, and 53 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to appeal error, courts, property, wills and trusts, and administration of estates. This bill I refer to the Committee on Judiciary. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Members, if you'll please take your seats. Chairman of reapportionment, you better look around and see who's standing up, slowing things down. Then we could have a special session on reapportionment. Members will please take their seats. Give the gentleman in the well your attention. Representative Rob Leverett is recognized to present the bill. Representative Leverett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been told by Chairman Collins that when I get up to present some of my bills, it's so boring his heart rate slows to such a level he can't hardly maintain consciousness. So in the interest of public health, I'll try to be brief. This bill amends the State and Superior Court Appellate Practice Act that we passed about 2 years ago. It made some changes in the way you appeal from like probate, magistrate, lower courts up to a superior court. They are normally a trial court, but they do have an appellate court function in that case. And we did that by doing away with the old petition for certiorari and replacing it with a petition for review, which is a much cleaner, simpler method of appeal. Well, as often happens, there were some issues raised about really exciting things like standards of review, how you dismiss a petition when mutual consent is needed. There were some changes also made to some of the condemnation statutes, which I want to thank Vice Chairman Reeves. Unfortunately, he got chewed on pretty hard at the condemnation seminar earlier this summer, and we don't want that to happen to him again. So we're trying just to clean up those issues, address some of those technical issues that the bill raised. I want to thank Vice Chairman Reeves again for bringing those provisions to my attention, and also so much thank the President Pro Tem of the Senate for allowing me to put those condemnation provisions into Senate Bill 450. And that, Mr. Speaker, is basically the bill.
Gentleman has no questions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd ask your favorable consideration of Senate Bill 450.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 450, the yeas are 150, the nays are 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. That completes the rules calendar. We'll move on to afternoon orders. Representative Tran. If you will, give the gentleman in the well your attention, Representative Tran, and he has some friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to remember what happened 3 years ago on 3/16, but I'd actually would like to yield the well to my colleague to say a few words about it.
You may. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon. Today marks a solemn remembrance of the third...
Members will stand, please.
Today marks the third anniversary of the devastating Asian spa shootings. 3 years ago, lives were tragically cut short, families shattered, and communities left grieving in the wake of senseless violence. We must remember the victims. They had hopes, dreams, and loved ones who cherished them dearly. Their lives mattered, and their absence continues to leave an indelible void in the hearts of many. We also honor the survivors whose resilience in the face of unimaginable horror is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Their stories remind us to support those in times of adversity. As we reflect on this somber anniversary, let us recommit ourselves to combating the deeply rooted prejudices and injustices that perpetuate violence against our communities. We must stand united against hatred, bigotry, and discrimination. Let this day serve as a reminder of the work that still lies ahead in creating a world where every individual is valued, respected, and safe from harm. May the memory of those lost inspire us to strive for a future filled with compassion and understanding. Together, let us honor the victims, support the survivors, and work towards a brighter tomorrow. Thank you. I yield this well, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, members. Representative Kendrick has a special afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues. I would like to wish my granny a happy birthday. Her name is Maddie Mae Kendrick, and she turns 82 years old tomorrow. My dad is her son. She has 5 grandchildren. I'm the best looking one, of course. She has 3 great-grands, and she lives in Representative Crawford's district, and the 3 things that she enjoys is gardening, looking at The Bachelor, and talking about Republicans. So happy birthday, Granny.
Granny's birthday. Happy birthday. Chairman Petrie to recognize for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if our other members of the Savannah delegation
Chatham County
come
delegation,
forward, that would be helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, just want to tell you our parade committee could not be here this year. We're sorry about that, but we do want to let everyone know here this is the 200th anniversary of what is now one of the largest Savannah St. Patrick's Day parades in the country. 200 years. And our chairman this year is Tim Mahoney, Timothy P. Mahoney, and our Grand Marshal this year, Mr. John Forbes. So we're real excited about the parade this year. Hope all of y'all come. It'll be on Saturday. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
well, what a great 200th. That's pretty good, huh? Yeah, Chairman Hitchens looks pretty good for walking in all those parades, I can tell you that. Representative Stacey Evans is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I want to commend some reading to you for over the weekend, perhaps on your drive home. This can be downloaded in an audiobook, which is how I read it. But The Zenith Man, written by a former member of this House, McCracken Poston. He represented Ringgold, Georgia, when I was growing up, had an infamous race for Congress against then Congressman Nathan Deal. But this book is about a murder trial that took place in my hometown by an eccentric television repairman, which is why this is called The Zenith Man. But it's a great story of how we can misunderstand people that are different from us. It's a story of redemption and the justice system working, and also there's some great stories for anyone who's lost a political race. You'll enjoy reading this, but I commend to you The Zenith Man. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Evans. That completes our afternoon orders. We have a couple of announcements, and we're getting close. Representative Panich is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Fulton delegation will meet at 4 o'clock in room cap 216. We need to pass the minutes. It'll be quick. Fulton County delegation, 4 p.m., 216 in this building. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Ramon has a fun announcement, I think. You're recognized.
Hi, everybody. For those of you who are wearing green, if you can come up here so we can take a group photo, that would be great after we're done. Thank you.
As soon as we adjourn. Representative Crowe. I got it that time, didn't I, Representative Clint Crowe?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Ways and Means Committee will have a meeting immediately upon adjournment. 406 CLOB will be meeting. We got 2 bills to take up. Should go relatively quickly. 406 CLOB upon adjournment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That completes our announcements. Members, I want to say to you again, thank you for your patience and involvement in our work for this day. I tell you, I don't think it goes unnoticed by the people of this state how this House operates, and y'all are doing a great job, and I just want to thank you for that. The House Majority Leader, Leader Elstration, is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand in recess until 4 o'clock p.m. today, then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, March 18th, 2024.
On the motion of the Majority Leader of this House that we stand in recess until 4 p.m. today, at which time we will be adjourned until Monday, March the 18th, 2024 at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. Let's hang around a while. I ain't got anywhere to go this weekend. But on second thoughts, I think the ayes clearly had it, Mr. Leader. What do you think? This House stands in recess.